President Trump is, okay? In the span of 2 months, Tom, we choked off China's discounted oil flow from Venezuela and now Iran, okay? China needs that oil to keep coming in to be the global influence and have its power, okay? Russia also lost cheap weapons and their drones that they've been getting to fight freaking Ukraine that was coming from Iran, okay? If you take your Israel time out for a second. Everybody knows I'm critical about some of the stuff that Bibi does and Israel, the government does. Put that to the side. I can be objective on both sides. Take a step back and look at the board strategically, okay? Pressure from all these freaking angles. That's perspective. What he is doing is so freaking impressive, but a lot of people are so stuck on just one thing, they can't get out of this freaking cloud.
What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Shots Fired podcast with DP. I am your host, Despop. Birth name Jay Simino, or Simaho to the ladies, giggity. And today is 3 March 2026. And if you recall, on 2 March 2026, I showed my It's China Stupid video. I know I have no reach and no one saw it, but to the 3 of you that did, you know I beat this dude on the PBD podcast to the punch in that opening vid. It was always about China, and thus, this is war. Remember when the attack first broke off and all the cunts on the D side of Congress were like, only Congress can declare war, and all the faggot bootlickers were like, technically we're not at war. Well, Pepperidge Farm remembers. And then about midday yesterday, all the internet grifting faggots like Benny and Posobiec and the like changed the narrative as dictated by the White House to, technically we've been at war with Iran for 47 years. Oh. So what I'm hearing now is that Trump fucked us in his first term by not bombing Iran then. What changed? And don't say nuclear capabilities, because we've been told by our Israeli overlords that Iran has been 3 days away from acquiring a nuclear weapon since the book of Genesis. And then less than a year ago, Captain MAGA told us mission accomplished in the destruction of Iran's nuclear capabilities. So which is it? Trump left America vulnerable by adamantly stating his desire not to attack Iran in his first term, with the whole no new wars narrative. And today it's, we should have attacked them 300 years ago? You're all fucking retarded. Straight up. Why don't you just tell the fucking truth? This is about being puppeted by Bibi, as well as striking a major blow to our true enemy, which is China. I admit that. And I'll remind you about my message from yesterday, speaking to the last time we cut off the oil supply of a major world power.
Word to the wise. Remember Pearl Harbor.
History repeats itself, douchebags. As long as your son gets drafted before mine, we cool. By the way, the American service member death toll has been up to 6 as of today. It was only 3 yesterday. And they've all been killed in friendly territory. For what? Just like the Afghanistan withdrawal is solely on our former daughter-fucking president, these 6 and counting are on FAGA. What's good for one, right? Don't be a hypocrite. For some of us, this is personal. I only have myself to blame for my past decisions, specifically related to love. But we all know how polarizing this last election was to our homes and to our families. How many videos have you seen in recent years from leftards feeling the need to let the world know they won't be attending holiday gatherings with their right-leaning families? I made the biggest fucking mistake of my life by dating essentially a Renee Good, a woman with a child conceived with a man who is truly a leftist lunatic lesbian at heart. If ICE was operating in my former state, she'd most certainly be trying to run them over with her Subaru. Yes, she owns a Subaru, the first red flag I ignored. But for me, politics never mattered at home. Yes, I am an ardent Trump supporter. I was law enforcement for 24 years, and I will always defer to the law and order politician. But I don't own a red faggot hat. It's a campaign slogan, people. A slogan created and owned by a mortal man. I thought our side was full of Christians in various forms. What does the good book say about worshiping man? It's fucking psychotic to me. Imagine seeing millions of people wearing blue hats that say Build Back Better or Hope and Change. We'd rightfully call them retarded and pass a law requiring castration and tube tying on a mass scale. As an America-only conservative, the red hat always looked foolish to me being worn outside of campaign season. So I never pushed or spoke of politics in the home. I never had Fox News on blast or listened to conservative voices online, so she had no reason to hate me for my politics, nor did she even know for sure. She assumed because I didn't embrace her politics or ideas in full force like a beta faggot that I must be MAGA, and she tortured me with it daily. The only reason I stayed beyond 2 months was because of her son. Like Renee Good's kids, that kid is truly fucked. His father is a low-life refugee because, like I said, she's a leftist and welcomed all the third world cock inside all 3 holes to prove her virtuousness. I took a liking to that kid and I didn't want to abandon him. I thought that if I just avoided anything remotely political, things would work themselves out. That was until her birthday in 2024, 13 July. She chose this mediocre Italian restaurant, which I didn't object to because it was her birthday, not mine. This restaurant was known locally as a very gay-friendly night spot, so I wonder why she chose it. And we get there, and I'm on my best behavior. She would often criticize and mock my PTSD in public settings, my need to sit in a corner with my back to the wall and the constant scanning for threats. And sometimes she wouldn't do it in the moment, but days or weeks later, like, I can't go out with you, or people are staring at you. Folks, I know I'm different, and I try not to let my demons get the better of me, but being mocked for it only makes it worse, something she loved doing. But on this day, she picked the seat, dead center of the restaurant, with my back to everybody. I didn't mind. I put on my big boy pants that day. I didn't scan, had my face buried in the menu the whole time. I was on my best behavior for her special day. Her son was, I think, 9 at the time. He was there with us. Well, for those of you that don't readily recall what happened on 13 July of that year, I'll remind you. My phone was on the table to my right, and all of a sudden it starts going apeshit with alerts. She hated that too, so I avoid looking down. But after a few minutes, I peeked towards it, and it was full of those blurb notification windows, and I didn't have my readers with me, but I could make out 2 words, Trump and assassination. And all of a sudden, my demon is back. My eyes are wider than they had ever been, and I'm scanning 360. My hands are shaking, and I might have said, oh my God. So she asks, what's wrong with me? And I tell her that someone shot DJT. So I can't help at this point to pick up my phone to read up on a full story and to check on his status. In her sternest voice, with her teeth clenched, she says, don't ruin my birthday. Let me at least dream he's dead. And then she smirked right in front of her 9-year-old boy that she originally wanted to abort, along with the 6 other souls she snuffed out and often bragged about. This is the person I was dealing with. But I made my bed and I was in love. More than that, I was committed to a Mexican child, not my own. Well, fast forward to the election and the shit truly hit the fan. I was blamed for that too. TikTok told her to blame me. And a few short months later, I was fleeced and homeless. I started this relationship 2 years earlier with a little over 100 GER in my bank account, 110 to be exact. Now, I was like negative 40 thou. Even as a highly decorated retired homicide detective, my pension couldn't get me a tiny roach-infested studio in the state of Rhode Island. So, I slept in a vehicle for almost 8 months, and I came closer than I ever had in my 18-year battle with the demon to ending it all and leaving my own son behind for politics, for a red fucking hat. So, my son is fighting age at this point, and while I still cling to my support of the No New Wars president, this shit happens a few days ago. You know what didn't happen? any fucking thing we were promised by FAGA. No Epstein accountability, no James Comey accountability. In fact, the FBI has only gotten worse and more political, and I mean way fucking worse. Letitia James and Alvin Bragg walk free. We just pulled out of Minnesota after apprehending less than 1% of their total illegal immigrant population. Less than 1 fucking percent, folks. Ground hasn't been rebroken on the border wall. Tim Waltz and Jacob Frey will never face a comeuppance. And then MAGA calls me black-pilled. Some are now even saying that black pillars are the new nihilists. I just want what was promised. Just a little fucking bit, man. One little thing. I want what I lost my life savings over. I want what I almost lost my life over, and but for the grace of God, should have. Is that too much to ask for? Honestly, these were all easy asks. Much easier than dropping bombs, much easier than risking my son being swooped up in a draft, and make no mistake about it. If China responds the same way Japan did when we cut off their oil, there will be a draft, people. He could have bought my loyalty with just one campaign promise fulfilled. So fuck all of you that support this shit or try to make excuses. We're not at war 1 minute. 2, we've been at war for 47 years and have done absolutely fucking nothing about it until now because Israel and China. Fuck you faggot ass Twitter MAGA if-bat punks. Fuck you and your entire bloodlines. I will not mourn for yours, but I will come for every last one of you if one of mine is hurt. That's not a threat. It's a fucking promise. End of rant. And for those of you that don't know, I fight my demons with humor. So let's get into the wood of the day. Got 2 of them actually for
The
you.
Olympics had to nerf this sport because it became too deadly for the stadium. This is javelin throwing. In the 80s, an Olympian launched a throw so massive it nearly hit officials and landed in the stands. Fearing the spear would literally fly out of the arena, the Olympic Committee redesigned the javelin, shifting its center of gravity to force the tip down earlier. Even with this handicap, modern athletes still launch these spears at 70 miles per hour, turning their bodies into human slingshots. The torque on their shoulders is enough to snap a normal arm in half. It's pure explosive violence, held back only by the laws of physics.
What? What? Then how about some fuck cats, yay dogs?
Will Milo. Sharpening your murder mitts.
Pivoting back to something deadly serious, it's time for the final call. On this date, March 3rd, 2014, Detective John Thomas Hobbs of the Phoenix Police Department in Arizona was shot and killed as he and other members of the Fugitive Apprehension Team attempted to serve a felony warrant on a man who had recently been released from prison and was wanted in connection to a murder. The subject fled in a vehicle and was pursued by the detectives until crashing at the intersection of 43rd Avenue and Bethany Home Road. The subject then fled on foot. He opened fire on the detectives as they pursued him, striking Detective Hobbs and a second detective. Despite being mortally wounded, Detective Hobbs was able to return fire and fatally shot the suspect. Both wounded detectives were transported to St. Joseph's Hospital in critical condition. Detective Hobbs succumbed to his wounds at the hospital. Detective Hobbs had served with the Phoenix Police Department for 21 years. He is survived by his wife and 3 children. Also on this date, back in 1913, policeman Thomas Inman Slayton, Yazoo City Police Department in Mississippi, was shot and killed when he and another officer attempted to talk to 2 suspicious men near the railroad depot. One of the men immediately produced a pistol and shot policeman Slayton fatally, wounding him. Policeman Slayton's partner returned fire and killed the man. The second man fled the scene. Policeman Slayton was survived by his wife and 3 children. May both continue to rest in peace. And we'll finish like always, this time with a Me and Who timeline cleanse. What does Me and Who mean? You'll soon see. But before we do, to all those out there struggling, remember to stop, breathe, survive. Later, bitches.
Get him, Jay.
You got DP'd.